your customer will start sending out body cues. Those body cues, those body language cues, will actually happen 9 seconds before they mentally disengage from the conversation. And those body cues are, they angle their body away from you. They turn towards the door. Their feet turn towards the door because they want to bloom and escape from you. They show signs of agitation. They scratch themselves. They're fidgeting. They're looking around the room. They smile too widely or for too long. When ultimately their eye contact becomes fixed, or their eyes become fidgety and they look around the room. So very important is to be aware of these cues so that you can, because now remember, you're aware of the fact that you need to be encouraging more engagement from your customers. How do we encourage engagement? Well, with meaningful questions. What are meaningful questions? Well, meaningful questions are, let's say they start with open-ended questions. How do open-ended questions start? Well, they start with wah, 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 ha, which is 3 W's, so it's wah, 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 ha. 3 W's, which stand for what, which, why, and how. And that's how you start open-ended questions. But we're going to now go on and we're going to learn something more powerful, a very specific type of open-ended question, right? These are open-ended questions that I like to refer to as linchpin questions. Why linchpin questions? Well, I wanted to call them power questions, but the reality is they're a lot more than just power questions. They are very specific, they are very unique, they're very powerful, and they have a whole lot of specific outcomes that we want to achieve. And that's what I want to support you guys to do. This linchpin questions, or should I rather say, starting with open-ended questions, moving to linchpin questions, and finally right down where you start using what I call open-up questions, which goes with TED. TED stands for tell me more, explain, and describe. Ultimately, what we're looking to do is we're looking to funnel. So this is our understanding when we arrive at our customer. Obviously, we've done research, we have an understanding of the business, we have an understanding of the individual, we have an understanding that this is a perfect prospect who's aligned with exactly what our product can do or our service can do. So we know all of those things, but this is where we're at, right? What we need to do now with our questioning techniques when we're meeting with our customer is we need to start asking open-ended questions, linchpin questions, open up questions, funneling down that understanding to a point where we uncover exactly which parts of our value proposition is aligned with what the customer actually needs. Once we get that right, now we're on track. Because your combination lock for selling success, guys, is the ability to ask meaningful questions. It's the ability to get real engagement from your customers. That is your combination lock for sales success. You see, closing sales starts long before you're sitting in that final meeting, right? Closing sales has already started when you identified what you sell, how that serves your customer, and then you identify your tribe or who's your perfect customer and needs exactly what you need to sell. And then you start asking, this is it. Now you start engaging with your customer, discovering exactly what matters to them and how can I best communicate that value. You see, there's no such thing as rejection, because when you use this technique, first of all, we know what we sell, we know exactly who needs it. The only thing we need to do once we know what we sell, who needs it, so in other words, we qualify our prospects properly, the next thing we need to do is we need to say, okay, so how do I, because it's not up to the customer to understand how your value proposition will help them, it's up to you to align the two and communicate that effectively to your customer. So in order to do that, you need to be asking these meaningful questions.